Hi, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Wednesday, May the 27th with news from Arkansas. The legislature is still meeting. Speedy movement on one big bill, but some trouble on another one. The House and the Senate both passed overwhelmingly, just 3 no votes in the 2 chambers in favor of the $87 million bond issue to give a corporate welfare payment to Lockheed Martin in hopes of helping them win a contract to build military vehicles in Camden. No talk about whether this is the best vehicle for the job. No talk about giving direct corporate subsidies to very rich companies. Jobs were the key word that everybody uttered today, and jobs decided the issue. Not so easy on another big issue, which is Governor Asa Hutchinson's desire to move the 2016 primary elections from May to March the 1st so that the presidential primary can be held in March at the same time a number of other southern states plan to have a presidential primary. The thought is that somehow this will increase voter participation and raise Arkansas's profile nationally if a lot of southern states are electing a president on the same day. A lot of people don't think that's true. Notably, Representative Nate Bell, a Republican, spoke against the idea in the House today. He said that it will create complications for candidates. There's not sufficient planning for some of the local offices that are going to be affected. The bill still passed fairly narrowly with only 56 votes in the House, but they were unable to attach the emergency clause, which requires a 2/3 vote. And that means, as a practical matter, it might be hard to implement this bill in time for the November filing period to begin. The matter was put up for an expungement vote. It failed again on adopting the emergency clause. There's similar problems developing in the Senate where there's support for the bill, but they're a couple of votes short of having the votes needed to get the bill on the calendar immediately and to adopt the emergency clause as well. So that's a story that's still in play. Elsewhere, the 8th Circuit United States Court of Appeals in St. Louis today upheld a lower court's decision that a 2013 Arkansas law that banned most abortions after 12 weeks was clearly unconstitutional. That's well before the age of viability, the point at which states can begin to regulate abortion. They threw the law out. Interestingly, it was a very conservative panel, and they seemed almost regretful that they had to do this. The state said had presented no evidence to support its claim that this perhaps was a law that could be accepted from the viability rule. The judges said that, viability is advancing farther than where it was in the Roe v. Wade days. The Attorney General of Arkansas, Leslie Rutledge, said she's studying this decision on what to do next. Interesting thing, there doesn't seem to be a way in the world the U.S. Supreme Court would hear an appeal on this case. It's so far outside the range of what the court has allowed the states to do in abortion. But in the meanwhile, that law that was sponsored by Jason Rayford, which Governor Mike Beebe vetoed because he said it would be found unconstitutional, indeed is officially unconstitutional. In Hot Springs this morning, Andi Davis, a well-known lawyer who has had something of a flamboyant past, entered a plea bargain today that settled a manslaughter case that had originally been filed against her and her brother. It was about a drug deal that went bad. A man that they were going to sell drugs to started threatening Andi Davis, hitting her with a golf club. Her brother fired a shot that killed the man in protecting her. Both of them in plea bargained, the brother to a negligent homicide charge and got probation, her to a charge of illegal use of a cell phone to arrange a drug transaction. She got probation. The family of the dead man, Maxwell Anderson, isn't very happy about it. Andi Davis is somewhat infamous because she had some form of inappropriate contact with Dustin McDaniel some time back that prompted him to withdraw from the race for governor last year after news of that relationship came out. In a way, it may have been a favor to Dustin McDaniel because I don't think a Democrat was likely to win that race in 2014 anyway. Last night, the Pulaski County Quorum Court adopted an ordinance on a 10-5 vote that says the county will not discriminate in employments on a ground of sexual orientation and doesn't want to do business with people who discriminate either. Unfortunately, it was a partisan vote. Republicans again showed that they want to favor legal discrimination by government agencies. It's too bad, but the right side prevailed. Speaking of Republicans, Senator Alan Clark added a bill in the legislative hopper to provide unlimited mileage reimbursement for driving around his district when the legislature is not meeting. This is on top of a 150% pay raise, per diem, and other legislative perks. Senate President Jonathan Dismang said this is not on the call and he doesn't support it. I hope that ends up being true. Other short, quick headlines. Unemployment was up in April by 1/10 of a point in Arkansas, although the workforce increased. Roger Hodge, who's been editor of the Oxford American and made some important changes in that literary magazine, which is published in Little Rock, announced that he's leaving for another job with another publication. And finally, a word of tribute to a well-known local figure, perhaps not widely known, but among a lot of people thought of fondly. Jack Fryer, better known as Daddy Jack, a blues musician, a one-time great football player, a man about town, a man who conquered an immense drinking problem and became a source of comfort and sobriety to many other people, died this week at the hands, apparently, of his brother who had mental difficulties. It was sad news for a lot of people who knew him well and who remember him fondly. We do too. R.I.P. Daddy Jack. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.